Hey there YouTube. Today I'm going to show you how I turn this into this. Stay tuned. So I started off by putting the lenses in the oven at 300 degrees for about 10 minutes. And then I went ahead and took them out, being careful as they are hot, so I wore gloves. Now you're going to want to be careful here, because you're going to want to pry the lens away from the house, being very careful. If it sticks, go ahead and stick it back in the oven for a little while longer. It should easily separate. Now go ahead and set aside the lens. Go ahead and take apart all the hardware. Removing these will make the retrofit a lot easier because it won't be in the way. Now I took a drill to the existing screw hole and I made it so you're able to feed the wires through without any interference from where the projector mounts to the housing. Then you're going to want to clean it up from all debris and everything and get it ready for paint. Here I'm just using a simple rattle can of semi-gloss black. I'm spraying it evenly over the part. I want to avoid runs. After this, you're going to want to let the part sit for about a night. That way everything dries up and it's easier to handle. Overall, I think the housing looks really nice, blacked out.
Terminated.
At this point we moved on to the projector, and for it to fit into the housing correctly we had to take the prongs out of the connector. You're going to be very careful when you do this because you don't want to damage the prongs and make the connector useless. Here I'm test fitting to make sure everything's going to fit snugly and right. Now for the halo, I used picture hanging wire to secure it to the shroud. I used a thumbtack to mark the holes on where I wanted to drill, and used a tiny little drill bit to open up those holes. I went ahead and put all the picture hanging wire in first, and then put the halo on so it was easier to install.
Terminated.
Now you're going to want to tighten these down pretty good so they don't shift while you're driving. I used a pair of curved needle nose to get in there, tighten them up pretty good. And then I went ahead and trimmed all the access. Then I bent the pieces up out of the way so it wouldn't scratch the lens. And I went ahead and tested it with a 9-volt. For this part, I took apart the capacitor and the computer chip. That way I could easily fit it through the housing.
Terminated.
Now it's time to start assembling everything. I went ahead and fed the wires to the hole I drilled. And got to the projector screwed into the housing. As soon as you're done with this, you're going to want to solder the connections back onto the capacitor and then put the connections back into the connector. I went ahead and I secured the lens back on the housing with silicone. And I left it overnight to dry.